Hi, everyone. My name is Brandy Kuhn, and I am the Executive Director of Raising Voices Coalition. And we are a nonprofit in Arizona focused on helping individuals with disabilities, their caregivers, families, and support networks achieve the greatest support and independence possible that allows them to have a full and thriving life in their home and community. And we in the past have done a lot of different campaigns where we share calls to action. And today is another new call to action where we are sharing some comments and how to share your story and feedback with Access or Arizona Medicaid regarding four policies that are currently out for public comment. And I am just going to walk through and basically show you guys how I use this call to action to form my own comments, how to submit them, how to use the links, and understand this document better. So, as a brief background, this packet is a simple guide to help you write effective, personalized public comments for each of the four access policies. You can review those yourself. I always encourage people to read them themselves and also form their own opinions. If they disagree with mine, please submit those for public comment as well. All opinions are welcomed here, and these opinions and what we are sharing in this document has been formed by us speaking with stakeholders, with our Raising Voices Coalition members, with talking with other disability organizations, and really evaluating what is in the best interest of the members in Arizona within the DDD and Arizona long-term care programs. So, as always, your voice matters, and Access and our state consider public feedback, public comment very, very critically as they are forming policies and evaluation tools, which is what we're discussing here today. So, how to use this packet. This is a little different than our previous calls to action. One of the feedback points we received from Access is that in May, they received a lot of copy and paste public comment. And so they kind of just lump that together versus considering them separately. And so we really want to emphasize and showcase the power of, excuse me, of individual stories and perspectives. And so this step guide will allow you to do that. So in step one, you're going to briefly share your story. Step two, you're going to choose the priorities that apply to you. If they are not what is outlined in this call to action, you're more than welcome to, add your own, adjust this as it best fits your circumstance. But we have included five different priorities for Raising Voices Coalition that we would like to see modified or improved in these policies and evaluation tools. And so that is what is outlined in this call to action for you to utilize. And then at the end, you're going to explain why this matters. So you're going to formulate this into about a 2 to 3 paragraph statement, and then you will upload to the Access website feedback for each of the four policies that's currently open for public comment. And this public comment period is open until next Monday at 5 p.m. So we need to ensure that we reach several thousand public comments by that point. That is our goal. And I think this is very possible with this easy 3-step guide. So, why comments must be personal, we kind of covered that already. But always understand that you sharing details about your child, your family, your circumstance is completely optional. You can provide as much or as little of that information as you would like. Personal stories always have a really strong impact. And so I always want to be mindful of that. So encouraging, sharing of that personal story, crafting that while also understanding the need for privacy and autonomy within the lives of individuals with disabilities and honoring that as well. So choose what is right for your family and your circumstance. And then customizing your own comments. You can go in here and personalize this by choosing, 2 to 4 priorities out of the five we have listed that matter the most to you. So adding a few sentences that make it unique to your situation, sharing an example from your daily life, tailoring the tone to your natural tone, and selecting only the talking points that apply to your child or family. Using ChatGPT or other AI tools can help you rewrite these comments. So I personally will utilize ChatGPT to help really fine tune my stories, my comments, so that I'm ensuring that they're grammatically correct, and also helping me to be the most efficient with my time while I'm trying to be most effective with my commenting. So you can ask it to organize or comment using the three steps that we're outlining. You can ask it to customize your own story with the details you provide and alternate sentences to avoid repetition, things of that nature. One of the things I always do when I'm using AI is I always ask it to remove any dashes throughout. For some reason, AI loves to add dashes. And then I always ask it to use my tone and voice if it's something, a platform I've used often so that it understands, where I'm coming from and how I usually speak. So, and then a final note, these policies were reopened because families in our community members spoke up. We raised awareness and created enough collective pressure to trigger an emergency rule change. So this is a big deal that these documents are out for public comment again, and that we get the chance to go back and ask for them to be improved. And I know there's been some concerns and some frustrations of, is Access really hearing us? And I really want to share that I've had several opportunities to be in meetings with Access leaders, and they are very excited to hear our public comment, to get ideas on how to improve services, how they're evaluated, how they're implemented from our community. And so this is our opportunity to really give that to them and to highlight what we want to see changed. So, okay, so this gets into the four policies. So I'm going to go through this first one and just show you how I would do it. So this is the 450 policy. This is the extraordinary care review for minor members. And this policy essentially is an exception policy to the age-based tool and age restrictions, as well as getting any additional habilitation hours beyond what the limit is that they're setting. So when I go here, I'm going to click on this, and this is going to take me where I can comment on this policy on the Access website. So you can come in here, you can fill out your name, and uh, I appreciate you all, but I don't want to give out my personal address. Um, 5 letters. Okay. And then I will put an address or a phone number. And please put your, real information there. Of course, only some of these are required, not all of them. So feel free to add them as you would like. You can upload files. So if you want to create these in their own separate document and then upload them, you can, or you can just copy and paste it. So for our example today, we're just going to copy and paste it. So step one, so I'm going to start with my story and include as much or as little personal information as you would like in 2 to 3 sentences. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to show my AI example on how I use this. So I'm going to say, we are going to create public feedback. Um, please use the information about my son, Tyson, and his medical conditions as we create this. So I'm going to do step one, start with the story, and then I'm going to go back to the call to action. And I am going to say, it says choose the priorities that apply, write 1 to 2 sentences for each priority you select. These are the 5 community priorities customized for this policy. So we've gone through and customized the feedback for each of these policies. And I'm going to say, I would really like to comment on the extraordinary care review process clarification. And again, you can choose all of them. You can choose one of them, whatever is important to you. You can make up your own. Not make up your own, but add your own. Specialty supervision is something I'm really passionate about. And then long-term care habilitation system. Okay, so that was step two. And then step three, end with one sentence, explain why these changes matter, and it gives an example. So I'm just going to copy and paste that whole thing and paste that in there. And I'm going to say, uh, create this in my tone and voice, and also ensure that dashes are not used. For some reason, that is my pet peeve. Okay. So I'm going to see what it creates, and then I'm going to give it prompts or customize it as necessary. So it's saying my son Tyson is medically complex and survived bacterial meningitis, ARDS, multiple ICU stays, seizures, long-term neurological impacts. So this is just a brief synopsis of my son. And because I've used ChatGPT enough, it has enough context of his condition. So if you needed to adjust this for your own child, you could provide more details there. It then put in there why these different sections are important to my son, and the feedback I'm giving to the state. Okay. Um, this says step three in here, so I'm just going to go and copy and paste this. I know I need to do a little editing. I need to review this, but I'm going to go back and paste this in here. I'm going to take out where it says step three, one sentence close, because I want it to be a little bit more streamlined than that. And again, elaborate on these sections as you see fit. Um, And then what you would do is you come down here, push continue. It's going to review it, make sure this is what you want to say, and then submit public comment. Okay, so then it says it's been submitted. And then I would go back to the call to action and I would go down to the second policy. So this is a different policy. This is the actual evaluation needs tool. And so in here, I really want to go over habilitation. I want to really talk about specialty supervision again, and probably the oversight and transparency are probably things that are really important to me. Obviously, for me, all five of them are. But with this customization and creating these within the community and adding our own stories and customizing them, we're really going to provide really valuable feedback to the state that's individualized versus having it be one size fits all, copy and paste. Under each policy section, you can click here and it will take you to that policy, that specific policy. And so you'll fill out this again and then come in and add additional details that we created. So hopefully this won't take you too long. And you would go through, there's four policies. So we have one, two, three, and then four. And then another thing you can do is go in and ask family or friends to do something similar. If they have a relationship with your child, you can go in and ask that they customize this for their relationship to your child and provide feedback on these important issues. So if you guys have comments, feel free to reach out to myself through social media channels. In comments is probably the best way with tagging me so I can see it really quickly. My messages fill up rather quickly, and I don't get to those as often. And our team will be able to kind of jump in and handle those comments as well. So, anyway, feel free to give this a shot, and I'm excited to see how this goes and provide thousands of public comments to the state.